Alright, first off, once all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Stone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, shalom. Brother Iram from the Jamaica camp. And this will be a follow-up video to the video I did, theory and practical are part of this truth, right? And basically, we just did bring out the word definition and find an article on it. So I just want to go through quickly, make a few points, and hope this is edifying to the brothers, right? Or edifying to the house of David. So it says theory versus practical. When it comes to knowledge, there are different kinds of knowledge and different ways of acquiring each kind. On one side is theory, and on the other side is practical application of the theory. So just like when I go to in our first video, we have to be what? Both doers of the word and hearers of the word. Right? It says both types of knowledge are important and both make you better at whatever you do. Right? Let's read through. It says, I think those who advance the furthest in life tend to be those who acquire the knowledge at both ends of the spectrum and acquire it in a variety of ways. So it goes on, explain theoretical knowledge, teaches why. It helps you to understand why one technique works where another one fails. Where another fails, it shows you the whole forest, builds the context, and helps you to strategize. Where self-education is concerned, theory prepares you to set a direction for your future education. Theory teaches you through the experience of others. So all we are reading in scriptures is based on the experiences of our forefathers. And we get to understand why one technique work over another. It has the Proverbs, the wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, the acts of our forefathers. All we are reading in scriptures, as I said before, they are from their perspective, right? Theoretical knowledge can often lead to a deeper understanding of a concept through seeing it in the context of a greater whole and understanding the why behind it. So that's the whole purpose of the theory or aspect of the truth. If you have an overall understanding of the concept, right, and why the whole understanding behind it and why it actually did it, right? So you didn't forget the deeper understanding. That's why we constantly read the scriptures. Practical knowledge helps you to acquire the specific techniques that become the tools of your trade. Exactly. So you have to start apply it. It sits much closer to your actual day-to-day work. There are some things you can only learn through doing and experience. Where theory is often taught in the ideal of a vacuum, the practical is learned through the reality of life, which is true. So when you actually start apply the scriptures, right? You basically acquire certain techniques or become a tool of how to walk in this life, in this wicked and corrupted life, our world. We get basically lead a life of righteousness. Slakia, kind of tongue tied right now. Slakia. It sits much closer to your actual day-to-day work, right? And this is the point. There are some things you can only learn through doing and experience. That's why the apostles and elders them can pass certain decrees and conduct themselves a certain way based upon the arsenal where them gain through them years and years of experience. So that both in theory and practical of the scriptures, them way ahead, right? Where theories of so basically the practical is more real life, while are more present and current, while the theory is based on the past, basically more reflecting. It says practical knowledge can often lead to a deeper understanding of a concept through the act of doing and personal experience. Because our brothers from all walks of life will actually come into this truth, and based upon them experience and what them been through and how them couple that with the truth, right, with the understanding of the knowledge, basically build them. That's why the two brothers don't really have the same spirit, right? Or if they have similar spirits, there are certain diversities within that similarity of spirit, right? It says both of the above are important. You won't survive in any career unless you can bring results and do that you do and to do that you need practical knowledge. There's no avoiding it. So we can't just read a bag of scriptures and not apply them, as me stretching in the previous video, right? We have to apply what has been learned. At the same time, learning how to solve a specific problem only teaches you how to solve that problem again. Practice can only take you so far. Theory helps you to apply what you learn solving one problem to a theory helps you apply what you learn solving one problem to a different problem, right? So that's the thing. So you can't basically get stuck on one thing. But when you have the theory with it, you see how the same practice we have in one area can be applied to different areas. That's why I said this truth is a lifestyle, and like you conduct yourself one way in the truth, and then when you're out in the world, you're a nigger, right? You're Hebrew Israelite overall. So you have an overall conduct, the same way how you treat certain things in the truth, the same way you treat in the world. For example, in the truth, you have order and certain stability, right? So when you're in the camp, you know certain channel. Like for example, like how we think about conflict. The truth, the guideline is you have a problem, you bring it to the person by themselves. If not, you get 2 or 3 witness. If that no work, you bring it to the top. Same thing if you're upon a job and like maybe you want your co-worker them have it out. If it's a possible way that person is approachable, right? You go to them and you bring them one away, or you follow the guideline, and bring it. Then if something keep on happening, you might bring 2 or maybe a supervisor, right? And if you don't work with, you bring it to your supervisor and nothing happen, then you bring it to your boss, right? And that the same command at the truth. So you apply the same practice in different areas, right? You're going to formal education. Okay, yeah, we can go through this. So it says formal education tends to lean towards the theory side of the spectrum, and teaching things to yourself tends to lean towards the practical. You can learn both through either method, but each tends to give you a little more of one over the other. That's why most of these people go to university and college and they must say, them can't get a job because what the job them are asked for experience. And then you have certain people who have the experience, but because them not because according to Esau Wicked Society, them not have a piece of paper, them can't elevate to a certain level because they need to get a so-called degree, which is total bullshit. But in an aspect, as it applies to this lesson, you see where both theory and practical is relevant, because it's good to have both sides of the spectrum, right? Because even though you have only experience in it, that means that you fully understand certain concepts. You just have the experience and you're good at it, right? You have a spoken word artist by the name of Sully Bricks. When I'm piece him say, not because you're the you're a student, not because you have experienced something, that no means that you're the best student. So not because there are a lot of people them basically go through many lessons and them not learn nothing from the lessons what them go through. So not because you do a lesson more than you're in one class for a number of years, that means that you're the best student, right? Because we did and now apply years upon years and now apply what I get taught and now understand what is being taught. While in different cases you have that student, the best student, which is the one who actually learn the concept and go through. Right? It says the key to getting all the knowledge you need is to understand that whatever route you have chosen, you'll probably gain a lot more on one side of the knowledge equation and need to spend some time acquiring knowledge from the other end to balance your education. So you have to balance, right? Just like what a brother named Shamar Malak. I think him come from the North Carolina camp that was once a part of that camp. But they used to call him the scripture guru, because he basically could have tell you all our precepts them there, and him could have explain them and break them down. But at the end of the day, him never they apply them, right? Hey, you have a scripture in Ecclesiastes, Lord willing, me get it before the lesson end, where it says you have one that teacheth many, basically, but him can't teach himself, right? It says if you go the 4-year degree route, realize that If you go the 4-year degree route, realize that many people in the workforce can already perform the specifics of your job better than you can. It is up to you to put in the time to gain the practical experience you need to complement the theory you have learned. While in school, don't pass on opportunities to gain the practical. Apply for an internship, try to get a summer job in your chosen profession, no matter what the specific job, no matter what the specific job. Right, so yeah, it can go through. It says, if you skip school and go straight to the workforce, understand that you need to have acquire the big picture view of what you're doing. Grab some books on the fundamentals. So you need fundamental milk scriptures, yo. So you need the scriptures to know how to go about. Right? You need to have the guide. You can't say, you're going to do something and you don't have no guide. Right? Yeah. Well, maybe a Hebrew Israelite. All right, what are the basis of being a Hebrew Israelite? I don't know, let's be a Hebrew Israelite. Because really and truly, that's how a Christian, well, not really, that's how a Christian are try to, in a sense. Them take up the Bible and say, them the salvation for them and all of that. But really and truly, that like, they must say them a spiritual Israelite. Why don't you be a spiritual, you can't be a spiritual Chinese. So why are you going to try to be a spiritual Israelite? The book was made for Israel, by Israel, for Israel, right? You have to be a seed of the nation of Israel for this apply unto you, right? So but if you don't have the foundation and understand of the scriptures, if you know that this is what the book I deal with, then you just out there do a bag of thing and do just like the Christian work for salvation when they apply unto you because you're not going to work the right way. First of all, you're not even qualify, right? I hope brothers understand when I say based on that. It says grab some books on the fundamentals, audit courses at nearby colleges, set a more formal path for your own education beyond day to day. Be more active in your understanding why different techniques work as they do. Devote some time to studying themes in your craft. Exactly, and we have to do that, right? That's why we do these lessons. So we do these shows, and then when we get all this knowledge, we actually we get to apply it, right? It says in the middle is online education, right? So it tells some different ways or you can get the knowledge, right? The part in really necessary. So it's a summary. As I have said throughout this post and everywhere else I have ever talked about this topic, the education you get is more important than where you get that education. You can easily find examples of people who did and did not go to school who went on to great success. And really and truly, that is it. There are a lot of people that ask to say, where we school it, or where we get this knowledge from, which college we used to go, which university. No, we study, right? It said, going on, it says there's a theoretical side and a practical side to knowledge, and both are valuable. The true masters of any craft or discipline understand both ends of the spectrum. They put in the hours to acquire the practical techniques, while also putting in the time to understand how those techniques fit into a larger context and tradition and why they work, right? So basically, that are the way we need to analyze it and apply as it pertains unto the truth, right? So hey, let me check the link here. Remember, if something the unite if we go through, I just want to get a couple of scriptures, right? Hey, and it says theory. It also hey, this is a different lesson, yo. Hey, we just are getting at this part of the lesson afterwards. So let me go ahead and get these scriptures. Slovakia. Yes, doers of the ear of the words are not ears only. So this James James 1 Slovakia Akim So James 1 and verse 22 says, "Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was." Right? So let's look up the word doer, look up the word hearer. Right? See if that play it.
Strong's G 4163, poietes, poietes.
A maker, a doer, a maker, a producer, an author, a doer, a performer, one who obeys or fulfills the law. Right, and so right here, a poet. So basically, a poet is basically a performer, yo. Somebody, you have to actually perform the acts. You have to do the righteous acts. Right? And we'll look up the word era as well.
Strong's G 202, akraates, akraates.
I don't know if it's loud enough for the brothers, but basically it says to hear, basically listener. Right? Follow this route. Hearing, right? So you have to and it says to attend to, consider. So you not only have to consider what was being said, you perform on what has been said, right? To attend or to consider what is or has been said, to understand, perceive with the sense of what is said. So not only you have to understand it, you still have to perform it, right? Goes on and says to get by hearing, learn. Things that comes out of one's ear, to find out, to learn, right? So not only learning, to give ear to teaching, comprehend, understand. So not only you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to apply, right? You have to learn and apply, right? Another scripture in Timothy. We got 1 Timothy 4. This is 1 Timothy 4 verse 16. It says, "Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine." Right? As a matter of fact, when we start at 15, verse 14. Start at verse 12. It says, "Let no man despise thy youth, be thou an example of the believers, in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine." Okay, basically, this is the hearing part, yo. So look up this word reading. Right? It's a knowing again, owning, reading. Right? Look at the root. It says to distinguish between, to recognize, to know accurately, to acknowledge. So yeah, you have brothers who know these scriptures back and front. Yeah, you have brothers where they can quote precepts dead on, yo. But hey, you have you have to apply it, right? Reading, exhortation, calling, summoning, admonition, warning, encouragement, right? Comfort. So we're supposed to do them things here, right? Going back to the precept, it says, "Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of hands of the presbytery," right? And basically, this is in the spirit, right? This is what the apostles that must say to you right now. Say, oh, we don't have to neglect the gift that is in us. We need to push these words, right? Which is given to us by prophecy, because it was prophesied that we would be basically teaching the word, yo, throughout the four corners of the earth. So we're supposed to push this work, right? I mean, for sidetrack, we'll look on laying on of hands, right? Imposition, right? Active voice, to add, to bid, lead, to throw oneself upon, to attack one, to make an assault. So we're supposed to basically make an assault on the public in our spiritual sense. We're supposed to bring out these words, right? We're supposed to assault these spirits, right? Laying on of hands. We'll look up the word hands now. The help or agency of anyone by means of anyone. Figurative applied to God, symbolizing his might, active power. Right? Right? Check out the root. Alright, so basically you're supposed to put in the work, as is recommended. Right? And the presbyteries are the elders, right? Body of elders, right? The Senate, the council, right? So hey, that's on point. So back to the precept. It says, meditate on these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear unto all. Right? So when you meditate upon something, what you do? You think upon it. So thinking alone now go work. It says to care for, attend to carefully practice. Hey, this is a practice to you. To meditate, devise, contrive. Right? It says use of Greeks to meditative pondering and the practice of orations and rhetoricians. Right? Basically to speak. Right, so we think upon what we are going to speak, and the root to care about. So it's more than just saying you care, or you more than saying you're glad to say a Hebrew Israelite, or you're glad for the night truth. You have to really act upon it. I say, and to give thyself. Look up give thyself. To agree. Right, although meditate already going to practice. But it's a check to see if nothing else today. To be present, to exist. This will be the reason why, if your whole existence, you bring out these scriptures. Right? And here comes the point. It says, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Right? Look up this word continue. Right? To stay at or with, to tarry still, to still abide, to continue to remain. Right? To preserve. To work in the work of teaching. Right? Denoting the action persisted in. Right? So we're supposed to do this work. Ultimately, that's the whole essence of the scripture. Right? To be upon a position. Right? To remain, to sojourn. Tarry. In reference to state our condition, remain. Right? So hey, that was the point, and hope these brothers were edified. Once more, once all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and